What is up, YouTube? It's your boy T Magic, the one with the automatic, back with a brand new video. I just had to make I recently saw Star Wars Episode 7, and I just had to make a video on this film, man. You know what I'm saying? I had to. There was a lot of stuff that I want to talk about this film that I felt majority of the videos I saw weren't talking about. You know, so I'm gonna give my opinion, the real G's opinion, on what I think about this film, okay? Alright, now, just to get out of the way, I've seen all the Star Wars movies. Empire Strikes Back is my favorite. I've seen the Clone Wars series on Cartoon Network. I've seen a little bit of Rebels. I'm not really digging that new series. And I've played all the Star Wars video games, just about, okay? And I'm not, like, the biggest fan in the world. I don't have all the toys and all that, but I'm a pretty big fan, okay? So, here's why I think the movie was good, but not great. Okay? Now, I'm just gonna voice my opinions right here. So the first thing, I got a list. The first thing is... Oh, wait, what I liked about the film, let me get that out of the way. Okay, I love what they did with the Force powers. How Kylo could just freeze your ass in place and could stop blasts in the midair. That's dope. I always wanted them to remix the Force powers. Like, I thought the biggest problem with the prequel is that George is a one-trick pony when it comes with Force powers. He did the same, like, everybody can shoot lightning, everybody could choke. Okay, we've seen those. You know, mix it up. Like, I want people to be able to collapse buildings or something with these Force powers. You know, something new. You know, and that's what they did. I love that. I thought, you know, the biggest people that people complain about is Kylo and Rey. I thought they were fine. I thought they were okay. I didn't have too many problems with them. And I think Finn was a great character. I thought Poe was great. Han was one of my favorite people to see in this movie. He was good, you know, until, you know, we're gonna get to that part where they fucked up with him. So, you know, it was good. It was good. That's what I thought was good. Okay, I thought BB-8 was fine too. But yeah, so here's what pissed me off in the movie. It just bothered me. It bothered me a lot, okay? My biggest problem with the film is that, and I know people have said this, is that it's a rehash or a reboot of Episode 4. Now, I would be fine with this, okay? It would be cool. But the biggest problem is that, you know, is they brought back the Death Star again. You know, that's the biggest... You could play on the same notes as Episode 4, that's fine, you know, but you did it step by step. Like, you know, I don't want to... You can look at anybody else's video on this, and they could tell you every single detail, but my biggest problem was that they brought back another planet destroyer. You know, it did not make sense, and here's why, and people weren't saying this. How the hell does the Rebels... Spoilers, by the way. Like, if you couldn't tell, I'm going to be saying the whole movie. Okay, so I'm just letting you know now. This isn't spoiler-free. But how the hell, at the end of the old trilogy, you're going to have the good guys win, right? So, how is it that this evil force is somehow allowed to make this planet destroyer machine that the heroes have been fighting to get rid of throughout the whole original trilogy? How do they are able to make this machine again in 30 years? They're able to make this planet destroyer that literally threatens the whole galaxy, and you're trying to tell me that the only thing that could stop it is this ragtag team of pilots again? Like, really? Like, it just doesn't make sense. As the Rebels won, shouldn't they have a whole army? Like, they was rebels in the original trilogy. They should be a force. They should be a whole galactic force. Like, you're telling me there's no other people in the whole... I know the galaxy is a small place, okay? But bear with me. There isn't another planet of good that's trying to... They could be even evil, but nobody... Why would anybody just sit there and let this empire, this new order, make another machine that just blows up planets? Like, that threatens the whole galaxy, and nobody's getting involved except this handful of pilots. That's bullshit. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. And that's why and this is the third, not to mention, this is the third time y'all have done a Death Star. This is the third time. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. And the Empire, they were such a strong, reason they was able to do it in the first place because they had all the power. They controlled the whole galaxy, and they made the Death Star in secret in the first film. And Episode 6, they were on the verge of building it again, but they stopped them before the construction was done. How are they going to let this whole planet be turned into this death machine, and nobody does anything? I'm sorry. That was just really far-fetched. Really far-fetched, and it didn't make sense. It doesn't, and I did not like that or appreciate that at all. It looked badass. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. It looked cool, but we've seen this before. Like, and you didn't even do it better than the first Star Wars film. Smokes this movie. You didn't even do it better than the first Star Wars film. So I don't even know why they even tried to do this reboot thing. That's my biggest problem, is that they tried to do this reboot rehash thing. They didn't make the film for the fans. They're already there, But we're gonna get into that. And going down the list, my second problem I had with this film was Han Solo's death. It was bullshit. What can I say? I know Han, or Harrison Ford, he did not want to live through Episode 6. He thought his character should have retired from there, because for some reason he didn't like his character and stuff. That's fair. That's his opinion and all that. So I saw it from a mile away the second he walked out on the bridge that they were going to kill him there, But why did y'all make him look like a bitch going out? You made him, he looks like a total bitch. And the Han Solo I know, Mr. Shoot First, Ask Questions Never, I'm pretty sure the Han I knew would have been fuck that shit. Oh, he's my son or whatever. Fuck that shit. He's blowing up planets. Billions of lives just died a couple of days ago. I'm not gonna let you just fuck shit up. You're my son or whatever, but no. At least have a fight or something. I don't think he would just walk out and just say, oh, well, I have no new incentive for you to join the good side, but can you come back for me, son? No. No. That death it just made him like a bitch for no reason, and I thought he would go out taking out a bunch of clone troopers or stormtroopers or whatever, not just on that bridge nothing, and then everybody glossed over it. I feel which is another thing with this movie, they didn't really make me feel the weight of death, or this was the most kiddie-ish Star Wars they've had. This is on Episode 1's level of kiddie-ish, except without the politics, thank God that they had in Episode 1. But it was on that level of kiddie-ish, and it didn't really... Leia didn't even cry that Han Solo died and stuff. And... he was he's been in the whole original trilogy. Why didn't you make it a big deal that the only person who made it a big deal was Chewbacca? And, and... I just don't know what they was doing with this one, guys. I mean, I did not like that death at all. That's the base of the matter. I didn't like how they did his character. For the second half of the movie, I didn't understand why he went back to being a smuggler, or when he was a general just 30 years ago. He was a war hero. One of the leaders of the Rebel Alliance. It didn't make any sense that he would just go back to smuggling. And that goes back to my main issue with the film, is that they made it as a rehash or a reboot, and it's oh, the legends are true, it's all true. What legends? This happened 30 years ago. What do you mean? I didn't know 30 years in the galaxy, you're all of a sudden a legend. Nobody heard of you. What? You led the Rebel Alliance. They talked about the Clone Wars, and that happened 30 years before the first movie. So I don't understand how the hell they think it's okay to just do a whole restart, just press the restart button from the last movie. Like this movie left such a big gap. It was bigger than the freaking plot holes in The Dark Knight Rises. The gap was so big in this movie. Like it left so many things unanswered, and that goes to my next qualm with it. A lot of things in this movie just happen just because. Why does Rey know how to use a lightsaber? Oh, just because. Why does Rey know how to pilot the Millennium Falcon? Oh, just because. How did that old lady with the goggles get Luke's lightsaber? Just because. Like, how did Finn know how to find Captain Plasma to shut down the shields for the new Death Star? Just because. Why didn't they just have another thing to bring up the shields in the command post that they was? Oh, just because. That was the only panel that shut down the shields in the back or bottom of the ship. Really? And would have been a nice thing they did just because bring back Boba Fett. You know how many people's jaws would drop if we saw Boba Fett come back? Like, I would lose my shit. What? But that's what I mean. They didn't do anything for the old fans. Like, if you're gonna pull stuff out of your ass like that, you might as well, like, how did he get caught when he was walking around the Death Star? Like, it seemed like nobody even noticed them. They didn't really have to even kill too many people or whatever going through the enemy base. Like, are you kidding me? Like, if you're gonna pull stuff out of your ass like that, you should have pulled out Boba Fett or something. That you can make up whatever excuse under the sun for why he's back. People would just be happy just to see him again. But, once again, they didn't care about the fans. They really did not care about the old school fans who were there from the jump or who saw the old movies. They wanted to do this for, like, the new people, and that's not really... sure, you want to go that route. The film was okay, yeah, but people should not be bitching when people complain about it, because this is episode 7 of Star Wars, of 6 movies, and you could totally see this movie, and you haven't seen any of the other movies. You could see this no problem, because they just hit, like, the restart button with no good goddamn explanation of why nobody knows who Luke is, or Luke Skywalker is just a legend, or why Leia just went back to being just a rinky-dink general for the rebels. Why the rebels are still the rebels, which is they're in the same spot they were in the first movie. Why? Like, it doesn't make sense. Why Han Solo went back to being a smuggler? Why? And it was just trying to bring in as many new young people as possible. That's why I think, and this film did not stop with the action either. Like, every Star Wars movie had like a chill out period. This film didn't. Every second it was some ridiculous situation going on. Like, it was put, like, with the squids and stuff they had in that base. Like, that was just that Han Solo was holding or some of the squids or whatever. That was doing too much. That was doing too much. It was doing too much. There's a lot of stuff I could go over. I'm trying to keep this brief because I don't want this video to take too long. So I'm just gonna go through my list. Like, I thought the Empire was soft too, also. But yeah, like, this film really made, like, the bottom line is this film really made the prequels. It gave the prequels a lot of bonus points. Like, for real. It was like, people talk shit about the prequels all day long, but you know something, at least those films had an original story at the end of the day. You can look back at them and say, at least I get a brand new story, at least I get a brand new enemy to go through this film. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least you have that. And I love how people want to talk shit about George Lucas. There's so many fans that curse his mother and all that. They threw this man on the bus. And so did Disney, because George put out a script for what he think his episode 7 would be, and they just threw it out, and they just said, "Oh, we want to do something for the fans." Really? You make this, and all you did was just recreate exactly 100% his first film that George Lucas made, that the creator of Star Wars made. He's such a bad director, but you recreated exactly what he did. Like, oh, I don't like when Star Wars is down to a formula, like where you could obviously see where this film was going. They're going to have that old wise character. They're going to have they're going to trade the plans to the droid. They're going to have Death Star. They're going to have a planet blow up. They're going to have a lightsaber battle at the end. I don't like that. I really don't. I do not like that. Like, I could see everything happen in this film from the jump. Like, I'm just surprised nobody limbs got cut off. Like, they just had like a little checklist of all the stuff Star Wars is known for, you know? Like, nobody lost an arm or whatever. And it's just... I don't know what they was doing with this film, guys. Like, anybody who gives it a 10 out of 10, I think you're crazy. I do. I think, like, it's 100. Like, there's so many reviewers that just I wish would just tell the truth, because I had problems with it the second I sat down, and when they said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get our plans to the droid," I'm just like, "Oh, okay, this is gonna be. Please don't tell me this is like episode 4," and it was. You know, I just don't get why people weren't saying. Now, people have their own opinions, that's whatever, but this movie had a lot of flaws. It really did, and nobody was really pointing them out. Like, this is not like the worst movie of all time. It could have been a lot worse. Don't think I'm saying that. I still think it's okay. But I just, for a Star Wars Episode 7, it's kind of sad when I can say Guardians of the Galaxy, and I can say at least Star Wars Episode 3 in the series. I think Star Wars Episode 3 and like Guardians of the Galaxy, those two movies fucking smoke Episode 7. They freaking destroy this movie. Like, this Episode 7 is like a 7 out of 10. No pun intended. It's like, I would say 8 if I'm really feeling generous, but it's really like a 7. Like, if you're comparing this movie to the original trilogy, oh, you're done. Especially Empire Strikes Back. Empire fucking smokes this movie so bad. You know, and it's just... I guess it's my fault for having such high hopes, but like it really was just okay. Like, and all these reviewers hyped the shit out of this movie, but it really was just alright. Like, it wasn't like a game changer. It wasn't nothing that was like, oh, groundbreaking or nothing like that. It was just a competent Star Wars film, and it did just enough, just a bare minimum enough for me to want to see the next one. You know, but I feel like a movie should be it didn't have a satisfying ending at all. This movie's ending was not satisfying in the least. Like, Luke didn't say a word. You just go to his island and she trying to hand him a lightsaber, and he just turns around, like, didn't say a word. And I was there in the theater, I never saw people jump up and walk out of the theater so fast. Because at that point, I jumped up and walked out too. I just wanted it to be over. Because it was just like they weren't really doing anything. I knew what the film was about after the whole lightsaber battle, which was good and stuff. But it was just like, what else is there to do? You guys obviously are not gonna... You guys obviously are just pulling stuff out of your ass with the rest of the movie. Like R2-D2 waking up at the end. Really? Why? Like, you know, and it's just... It didn't really have a satisfying ending, like... that much. It really, all the Star Wars, every single one had a very satisfying ending to them, you know, to me at least. This one didn't. It really didn't leave on like a high note or whatever. It just was like, okay. Man, like, you really was going to end it like that? Wow, Luke saying a word. Okay, whatever. I'm out. So, I feel like, you know, last point, I feel people need to judge this film by itself. You shouldn't judge a film on whether or not the sequel is going to come out and explain all the inconsistencies and bullshit that's in the movie. You know, like, people were saying, oh, wait until episode 7 is going to explain all that. Oh, this film isn't bad. This isn't bad. They're going to explain this, that, and the third in episode 7. Yeah. Empire, didn't need that, and it left on a big cliffhanger. Episode like Empire didn't it was still an amazing film, and it didn't need to be justified by the next movie on whether or not it was good or not. I'm pretty sure people knew Empire was an amazing film before they had to see Episode 6. So I don't buy that bullshit excuse. A film should be satisfying by itself and not have to depend on sequels to get it out of a dish that it's in. But yeah, man. That's all I gotta say. That's it really. This film made the prequels look better. It gave the prequels a lot of bonus points. It was just okay. It's not anywhere near as good as the original trilogy in my eyes. And I don't think it's the worst film ever, but it's definitely not the best film ever. I'm in between both of those parties. It was just okay. And I think more people needed to come out and just say, like, yeah, it was just alright. I mean, it's your opinion. If you think it's amazing, that's fine with me. But for me, it's just okay. It's just alright. And that's not really that acceptable for Star Wars Episode 7. But it's whatever, guys. They didn't really care about the fans. So, maybe Disney just took this series and just went with what was safe. And it's whatever, guys. I'm out. I'm done. So thanks for watching the video and hear me give my opinion on this film. New videos coming soon. We'll see. Hopefully we'll have some more videos, so check out those. And I will see you guys next time. Peace in the Middle East.